You're listening to an iHeart podcast.
Welcome in, everyone, to Lively Lewis Stories.
That's right. We're back with even more awesome adventures with Levi and Ivy.
Set your storytime meter to fun and get ready to join the Lively Lewis crew.
All you need is your imagination and...
Off we go!
I can't wait to see where our story takes us today.
Have you ever wanted to get more Lively Lewis in your life?
Well, we've got you covered.
Grab an adult and zoom over to livelylewisshop.com.
Or just click on the link in our show notes.
Enough about that. Let's get to today's super Lively Lewis story.
Levi, Ivy, are you two paying attention? Asked Levi and Ivy's mom as she talked to her kids at the kitchen table one morning. Sorry, Mom, answered Levi as if he was waking up from a dream. I was just thinking of something and must have gotten lost in my thoughts. Same here, Mom, said Ivy. You two were daydreaming, said their mom with a smile on her face. I used to daydream all the time when I was a kid. What's daydreaming? Asked Levi, sounding very interested in the answer. I love dreaming at night, so it's cool to hear that there's a way for me to dream during the day, too. Well, it's very similar to dreaming at night, began Levi's mom. It's when your mind wanders, like you're making up a story in your head. You could be thinking of something that you did that day or something that you're gonna do. Or you could create something fanciful and magical. Wow, that's really cool, Mom, answered Ivy. I wonder if your daydream could ever become your night dream. That would be so fun, added Levi. You know, that's a very good question. And one, sadly, I don't have the answer to, said Levi and Ivy's mom. But maybe you'll get the answer one day. However, right now you have to stop daydreaming and start getting ready for school. Levi and Ivy got dressed, brushed their teeth, grabbed their school bags, and headed out the door. All the time daydreaming about, well, daydreaming. Thinking how cool it would be if they could take their daydream and make it into their night dream. How cool would that be if we got to pick our own dreams at night? Asked Levi as he and Ivy walked onto the playground at their school. I think we should test it out tonight, replied Ivy, and then see if we can make that what we dream about when we fall asleep. Levi was up for the challenge, and that day at recess, he and Ivy found a quiet spot in the playground, sat down, and started to daydream. Levi had a game coming up the next day, which he had been thinking about a lot. He decided to focus his daydreaming on hitting a home run that would win the game in the last inning. His eyes sparkled as he imagined how it would feel to win the game for his team. Ivy had really been into art lately and had just turned in a painting she made to a local art contest being held at her neighborhood library. The winner was going to be announced that weekend. Ivy daydreamed about what it would be like to win the big prize of having her artwork displayed in the library and getting a free week of art lessons with her art teacher at school, who just so happened to be her favorite teacher. Ivy and Levi's smiles grew bigger and bigger as they daydreamed about the possibility of their dreams actually coming true. Then suddenly the bell rang to end recess, shaking Levi and Ivy back to reality. Wow, that was a good daydream, said Levi as they walked inside. Mine was awesome too, replied Ivy. I hope I get to dream about it more tonight. And wouldn't it be amazing if... Levi started to say before he stopped and shook his head. What? Wouldn't what be amazing? Asked Ivy, curious to hear what her brother was going to say. I was just thinking, what if we could take it one step further and actually dream about something so much that we actually make it happen in real life, said Levi, waiting to hear how his sister would respond. To his delight, Ivy was very interested in this idea. She told her brother that she truly believed if they dreamed hard enough, that maybe they could make their daydream, turn to night dream, come true. But first, they had to see if they would actually dream about their daydreams when they went to bed that night. After school, Levi and Ivy raced home. They did their homework and ate dinner before they normally would. But then Levi and Ivy did something they had never done before. Good night, Mom and Dad. We're going to bed, they said as they started to walk up the stairs to their bedroom. What? Exclaimed their dad. You two are voluntarily going up to bed. You want to go to sleep? We sure do, said Levi, looking at Ivy with a smile. Yep, sleep is really important, Dad, giggled Ivy as they hugged their parents goodnight and ran upstairs to bed. That night, Levi and Ivy closed their eyes tight and thought about the wonderful things they had been dreaming about earlier. As they drifted off to sleep, they could see their daydreams playing out before them like they were watching a movie. Levi and Ivy then had the best dreams they'd ever had. They both seemed so real and larger than life. Levi won his big game and was carried around the field on his friend's shoulders as the crowd cheered loudly. And Ivy stood proudly in front of her painting. At the library, she was given a certificate for winning the art contest. As soon as the sun rose the next day, Levi and Ivy's eyes opened wide. They couldn't wait to check in with each other to see if their daydreams came true in their night dreams. It didn't take long for both of them to realize that they had. They talked over their dreams, replaying each part and wondering what would happen next. After all, they were able to make their daydreams play out in their night dreams. The next step was making those dreams come true in real life. The day went on as normal. Well, at least as normal as it could go on for two kids that could control their dreams. But then, before he knew it, Levi was standing at home plate during the bottom of the 9th inning of his big baseball game. However, this time it wasn't a dream. It was really happening. The score was tied and the winning run was on third. Each pitch looked better than the next, but if Levi's dream was going to come true just as he saw it, then he had to wait for the fourth pitch. And he did. Levi swung hard as the fourth pitch sailed across the plate. His bat made contact, and then as if in slow motion, as if he was dreaming, Levi watched as the ball leapt off the end of the bat, soaring into left field and over the outfield fence. Home run! Screamed the crowd and all of Levi's teammates as they watched him win the game with a walk-off homer. As Levi crossed home plate, his teammates picked him up and carried him around the infield, shouting and cheering his name. Levi could have not been happier or more amazed at what had just happened. After his teammates put him down, he ran over to Ivy, who was celebrating with his parents on the bleachers. "I can't believe it! I made my dream come true!" exclaimed Levi. "That was incredible! It was just like you told me it would happen," replied Ivy as she jumped around with her brother. "I can't wait for the art contest this weekend." And soon enough, the day of the art contest arrived. Ivy stood in front of her painting, waiting, as the librarian thanked everyone for participating and read the winner's name. And wouldn't you know, it was Ivy. "Congratulations, Ivy," said the librarian as she handed Ivy a certificate. "This is just how I dreamed it would happen," Ivy whispered to herself as she waved to Levi in the crowd. That day, Levi and Ivy couldn't keep the secret any longer. They had to tell their parents what had been going on. When they got home, they all sat down in the living room where Levi and Ivy told them everything. Levi explained to his parents how he knew he was going to hit that home run, and Ivy told them she was sure she'd win the art contest. And it was all because they dreamed it would happen. "These things both started out as daydreams. Then we dreamed about them at night, and then they really happened," said Ivy. "I think we may be magic," whispered Levi to his parents as Ivy nodded her head. Levi and Ivy's parents just smiled at them. They knew exactly what was going on and were ready to explain it to their kids. "Levi and Ivy, you are definitely two magical kiddos for sure, but it's not because you can control your dreams," Levi and Ivy's mom began to say. "It's because you worked really, really hard to make your dreams come true." "She's right," added Levi and Ivy's dad. "Levi, you practiced every day and worked really hard on hitting all season long. That built up your confidence, so you were ready for that 9th inning situation at your game. And Ivy, you're always painting and learning new art techniques. That practice and desire to learn and grow makes you better and better. Winning the art contest at the library was your reward for all that hard work." Levi and Ivy liked what their parents were saying, but they couldn't help but see that their mom and dad weren't fully getting behind the whole "your kids are magic" thing. "So what you're saying is we don't have control over our dreams?" asked Levi. "And we can't make what we dream about come true in real life?" "No," replied Levi and Ivy's mom. "Quite the opposite, actually. It just may not be the type of magic you're thinking about." "Well, that's good," said Ivy, "because I was planning on daydreaming about an ice cream sundae the size of this couch tonight." Levi and Ivy's mom laughed before saying, "You are in control of your dreams, but that control comes from hard work, practice, dedication, and yes, sometimes a little bit of hope and magic. A combination of all those things makes your dreams a lot more likely to come true. But even when those dreams don't come true, you still walk away with something just as magical if you look at it the right way," added Levi and Ivy's dad. And that bit of magic is called a life lesson. A lesson that will help you improve in the future and maybe make your dreams come true the next time around. We're so proud of you both and know you'll make many more of your dreams come true, said Levi and Ivy's mom with a smile. And you'll do that through hard work and believing it can happen. If you dream of yourself doing your best, you're more likely to make that dream come true. Levi and Ivy definitely liked what they had heard. Maybe it wasn't a truly magical event that happened when Levi hit that home run or when Ivy won the art contest, but it was something special. Something that happened because Levi and Ivy were focused on making their dreams come true through positive thinking, hard work, and just a little bit of dreaming. Thanks for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed the story and learned a little something too.
And since we know everyone has their own story, we'd love to hear yours.
If you have an idea for a Lively Lewis story, leave a comment on our Apple Podcast review page with 5 stars, your idea, and your little one's name.
Then maybe our next adventure will be with you.
Until our next Storytime Hangout.
Thanks for listening. We can't wait to share another fun Lively Lewis story with you.
You're listening to an iHeart podcast.